Third budget meeting. I'd like to start the meeting as we have with each one of these meetings and start with our Acton School Department FY20 school budget meeting norms. So we're all aware of the 6 stride statements. I'll read them. We will strive to work together as a community that values the education of our children that our children receive at AES. We will strive to be fully present at the meetings by becoming familiar with materials and by being attentive. We'll strive to invite and welcome the contributions of every member and listen to each other. We'll strive to be involved to our individual level of comfort. Each of us is responsible for airing disagreements during the meeting rather than carrying those disagreements outside the meeting. We'll strive to operate in a collegial and friendly atmosphere. We'll strive to be responsible for examining all points of view. And we're going to look at budget Article 2 first, then 5, and then 7. And just a quick update on how we read the budget, and we'll go over it, and I will pause momentarily after each line item for any comments, questions that you may have. If I don't hear any, I'll move to the next one, and we work from the left to the right. And you'll see in the left, you'll see the budget 3 years ago, 2 years ago, and then last year. And then you'll see what we've budgeted for next year, and then the variance. Now the variance is either a positive or negative number, or it's a hash mark, which means it's flat, there is no change. And a variance with a parentheses around it means it's a negative number, meaning it's gone down. And as I mentioned in the first 2 meetings, sometimes you'll see a number that went down because it went up somewhere else. One reminder that the chart of accounts was changed by the state of Maine, so Kim had a lot of work to do this fall, and we've seen that in some places money was moved out of one cost center and put somewhere else, and that's why there's some big numbers that are either up or down. Not the most important thing, but the best guidepost you have is at the very end. You'll see the variance for the cost center, either up or down. So I'll walk through each one of these line items and give you a moment to ask any questions of Kim or I. Starting with Article 2, teacher salaries. You'll see that there's a variance of $40,000. Negative, so it's a less $40,000 for the salaries for the 11 teachers in the 3 through 5, 6 through 8 specials, art, music, and PE, and most of that is just simply a change in personnel. Our newer hires are not as costly as some of our more veteran teachers, so we're seeing that this year. Ed tech salaries, going across, you'll see there's a variance of a positive variance of $1,355. And then substitutes, a positive variance of $1,837. And then for those of you that are joining us, you'll see the substitutes, you'll see 15 days at $80 a day for 75% of the time. And Kim, just a note, you had to change some of those numbers due to minimum wage.
Right. So it went up from $75 to $80 as our average.
To stay in compliance with federal minimum wage.
Yeah.
When we get into teacher benefits, and wherever you see the word benefits, you can go right over and you'll see that the same language is there for every one of them. And that is the Medicare, the state unemployment tax, the workers' comp, the long-term disability, and retirement. So we won't get into that. That's a fixed cost that's set for the school.
Yeah, but what went up? Medicare went up 1% or
For
something?
teacher benefits, it went down, and for ed tech benefits, it went up. But what was the change? The main
PERS,
main
which is
PERS
down
is a
further. It went up from 0.397 to 0.416, which you'll see down a little bit.
I'm on professional group insurance. Now that's a positive $32,632. Again, that's change in coverage. It's the insurance plans that got changed with the employees that we currently have working with us.
Like some went from single to married, or some went from married to families.
Last year, when Will was here, I recall he bringing up sort of a question for the future as to how often we look at new insurance companies.
Mm-hmm.
Is that in the plan anywhere? Or is that done on a set basis?
Well, I'm going to let Kim respond to whether it's a set basis. When we look at the insurance plans that were given, the standard, the choice,
Right, there's four different plans.
menu choices, but it's up to the teacher to pick the one that best fits their profile of health insurance.
And,
And their needs.
So every year we stay with these 4 companies?
No, it's one company.
company.
You pick one of the 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're looking maybe to look outside
Yeah.
another state or what other kind of health
Another-
insurance there is.
It's put
Or just
forward by
another
the
insurance
MEA,
company.
though,
You
correct?
you get multiple insurance companies that all provide the same
Right.
type of coverage, but the
It- it's
premium is different.
It's actually the MEA that offers it up. So all the teachers in the state are offered
Yeah.
Oh, so it's not done
the
NACA.
four
Nope,
kind of
it's-
plans. It's not, yeah.
Bigger pool.
Yeah.
If you take every teacher in the state, they bargain with Blue Cross Blue Shield and whoever else, and it's whoever wins that bid, and then they set. Now, we have 4 choices within the MEA
Yeah, I
for
got
plans.
that.
Then it's up to the individual teacher to choose the one that
Right.
best fits their needs, yeah. I think I know what your question is. Do we go out and shop? No, they go out and shop. We're part of a bigger group.
Okay, does the state do it on an annual basis, do you know, or is it maybe
They
not that
must.
often?
They must go
Understand
out all the
annually,
time. They're
I would
all-
think.
Not sure.
Yeah, it's something that they review every year, but I don't. When we start comparing like Anthem with some others, I think MEA pretty much stays with Anthem because their pool is so big
Yeah,
and it's actually the best,
premium
yeah,
you're gonna get.
we can get for this size.
Okay, okay, thanks.
Good question. And then we get into the, you'll see that question came up with insurance, so now we're into substitute benefits, the retirement teachers and the retirement. That's what main PERS, MEPERS is the retirement. So these are fixed costs, these last 4 pieces of page 1 of Article 2. I'm gonna turn the page to the page 2. Repairs and maintenance is flat, no increase, no decrease. Equipment lease is up $1,500 based on a percentage used by grade levels. Travel and conference is up $250. There's a little explanation that has to do with what the travel and conference is. Supplies is flat, no change. Testing is down $400, but that's grade through 8. That benchmark testing still happens
Down.
at the lower grades. It's costed out at the lower grades, but the benchmark testing does still happen up through the middle cohort. It's just being paid for out of the lower grades budget. Books and periodicals, in this case, we're up $2,500 with an explanation. But with equipment, we're down $1,050 with an explanation. Computer software for assessment, that's NWEA. Our next meeting, we'll be looking at Article 6. We'll be looking at computer software and computer programming overall. This has to do with assessment. That's flat at $2,500. Dues and fees went away at $80. Programs and concerts is up $900, cover music performers. Field trips overall for the cohorts is up $108. Now, the teacher salaries, that's a good chunk of money that's to the negative, so we're down $52,087.
But our grant
But it's
for Title I.
right. We're getting a much more substantial Title I grant this year, and pretty much that pays for our personnel in Title I. So this year it will almost be 100% covered from a grant, not in the local budget.
Was this the one last year, you got something like 22,000, or was that some other grant?
I think that was
22,
something.
yeah, and we got 60, we will get 60 this year, so.
So when, like anytime we can get grant money to offset the local, we will. And in this case, it worked out pretty well for us moving into next year. Ed tech salaries is up $1,356, $1,356. I'm turning to page 3. Substitutes, top of page 3. Up $487. Kim already explained the change in substitute pay due to minimum wage. Teacher benefits, ed tech benefits, group insurance, and ed tech group insurance, and substitute benefits, and I'm just going down the left. Main teachers' retirement and ed tech's retirement are the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 items, which are pretty much fixed. And again, professional insurance is the one that changed the most to the positive, up $15,000. And again, that's change in coverage. That's why it's up. But those are all set at rates that we don't change. Meanwhile, a few of them are down, most of them are in the ballpark of where they were within a few, less than $100.
So 5 teachers picked different coverage than they did the year before?
I don't know that it's actually 5, some of them did. Kim would know
Could
better if
be
it was
even
all
just
5 or 1 or
change
2.
Could be that
From
much.
Mary.
Could be a
to
couple of
single,
changes.
Okay.
That type of group.
Okay,
Yeah. Probably not all 5 did, but a couple did.
yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so now I'm down to equipment leases, because we're moving beyond the fixed cost, up $1,000. The copy expenses for K2. Travel and conferences flat for K2. And supplies is flat, as well as testing. Books and periodicals is up $2,100. I'm turning to page 4. Page 4. Equipment is flat. Computer software is flat. So is dues and fees, same as last year. Programs and concerts, there's an increase of right around $1,000. It's $1,080 to cover authors for literacy programming. Field trips is flat from last year. Professional salaries for our pre-K program are up $4,532. And now we're in, Scott, ed tech salaries for pre-K is up $679. Substitutes for the pre-K program is up $206. Now we're into the benefits again, so we're looking at pretty much everything on the rest of that page. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines.
Things we have no control over.
No, and your most significant change is up almost $4,000. It's $38,889 for the professional group insurance that covers the 2 teachers in pre-K.
Now, that's not a change in coverage, that's just the percent increase at 9%, a placeholder we had to put in.
Okay, so I'm going to turn the page now to 5, which is our last full page. Page 5 starts with travel and conference, which is flat. Instructional supplies, again, no change. Books and periodicals, pre-K, no change. Equipment, we're up $1,400, and that's to repair and replace some playground equipment for pre-K. Pre-K has its own playground, which is closer to the side of the school, separate from the big playground for the older kids.
Can you just mark in the notes that it's for pre-K, that one?
I just did.
You mean we have to replace the stuff that's only been there 2 years? Or we're giving them something new?
Well,
or-
it's a
Adding.
little extra piece, yeah, they're
Extra
looking at another
pieces.
little piece.
Yeah.
We gotta keep up with the neighbors.
Field trips, up $800.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Going back to the
Please.
playground, is that something that all the towns do, keep their kindergarten kids separated?
No,
That's
it's
the
just
pre-K.
pre-K.
That's the
That's our
little
pre-K.
4-year-olds.
Okay.
Yeah, they're the kids who, and now, it's a good question. A lot of school systems that are bigger, where there might be 2 or 3 elementary schools, there might be one site for pre-K, and it's not in the elementary schools. It might be at a community center or another public building that the town owns or the city owns. Pre-K is kind of its own animal. It's not mandatory, you don't have to. The new leadership in Augusta is really looking for public pre-K to be in every town in the state of Maine. We've seen some big gains since we've moved to pre-K with the quality of our kindergarten students, and of
I
course.
guess I'm wondering, in a town
They-
this small,
Yep.
how many pre-K kids do we have that it warrants an extra playground?
Oh, no, you
No,
have
not
to
a
have
whole-
a certain
It's separate,
square
yes.
foot per child
You have to
in
have
pre-K.
33, there's a lot of regs. You have to have 33
Oh.
square feet per kid in the program. The playground, our buses have to have five-point harnesses that are seatbelts for our pre-K kids.
Yep.
It's a very different, some, in bigger districts, there's a pre-K run, they're not even with the older kids. We found that having the pre-K kids with the older kids works out good, because the older kids can unbuckle them and help them.
Yeah.
So it has that small town appeal. But pre-K is almost its own thing. They have nap time for an hour. You know, Mr. D's the only other person in the building who takes a nap. Never Just an opportunity to throw something in during a formal budget
Have you
meeting.
seen the little playground out there? I mean,
No.
they're real little people. They're all caged in.
How many pre-K do we have this year?
I got my numbers right here.
No, it's a whole
23, I
different,
think.
they're little
Let me
people.
find them.
I know, you don't want them to escape.
Well, no, we don't
You
want them, they can't.
You don't want them with
Bigger
older
kids.
kids
You
who
can't.
Yeah.
can be a little
The
bit
slide.
rambunctious,
The slide
etc.
isn't
And
the
teach
them
same
bad
size.
things.
20?
They're 20 in pre-K. I have
They
a group
learn
of
that
12 and a
while
group
on
of
the
8.
school bus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got my numbers here. Okay.
20.
Okay.
Yeah.
You gotta
Great.
come by and try it out. It's,
Pre-K is a lot of fun.
Could I fit in the cage?
you have to stay inside.
We have a few people who put in there.
So we just shifted from that conversation. You'll see secondary public education. So these are our high school kids. Remember, they go to Sanford High School. We contract directly with Sanford High School. And for next year's group moving up and for the kids that we see graduating out, we're going to be $5,000 less for our tuition next year, based on our student numbers. Again, that's based on numbers we know. People move in and out of Acton.
Half a kid?
Yeah, how does that work out? -5.
Yeah, with a
Is-
10,
is
it's
the
actually a
rate-
very good question.
Is the rate going up
The
from?
rate is
Yeah.
going up, and
Yeah.
the number of kids we have are going
Going
down.
down.
Yeah.
So between the combination of the two.
All right, we didn't want to look
there's
like we
your
got
number.
rid of half a kid.
And we didn't have half a kid in there.
But I- yes.
That hat's on pre-K.
That's right.
In the cage.
In the small area.
Didn't want to leave.
I do want both committees to understand, though, that high school number has everything to do with the flow of people that move into Acton.
Right.
So really, it could be a family moves to Acton and they have a freshman and a junior. I never really get to meet that person, get to know that person, these people, and we support them because they're Acton kids, but they become Sanford High School students, and they never had the experience of coming to this great school. So it does happen, you know, when people move to town, we're responsible for their high school education. And that number does change. We've seen it change as much as 8 or 9 kids in one given year. Okay, so private secondary education, this is, I want to be careful because there's only 4 students, so this is in the special ed world. No, this is not in the special ed world, so I still don't want to identify 4 students.
Right, it's private schools.
Private school, which we just talked about a policy earlier in our school board meeting. Because of the number of students and our tuition rate at $11,100, it's $11,700 increase. Then we're into teacher salaries for gifted and talented. We just moved away from high school and we came back here into the building. We have 1 gifted and talented teacher for pre-K through grade 8, with an increase there of $983. Substitutes for the GT program where that teacher is at $75, and the teacher benefits at $16 increase. The insurance is an increase of $12.55, the substitute benefits of $1. And then you got main PERS at $130, and travel and conferences is flat at $500, as well as supplies, testing, books and periodicals for GT is flat year to year. We are almost done. This is the longest cost center too for tonight. Dues and fees for GT is flat, programming is flat, and field trips is down $500. So if you want to take a look at your totals at the bottom, you'll see that the variance overall for this particular article is actually down $12,401 overall for Article 2. The next 2 articles are quite a bit shorter. I guess the next one should be right here. Article 5 is next in your book, other instruction. And really, this is co-curricular stipends is up $200 with an explanation on the right under notations. And then the stipend benefits are up $16. Travel and conference is flat, supplies is flat. Transportation for clubs, dues and fees are both flat. Extracurricular stipends are up $200. The stipend benefits are up 16. Contracted services are flat. Repairs and maintenance is flat. Travel and conferences flat. Coaching supplies is up $2,300. That's actually the only really significant increase, and that's because we're looking at new uniforms.
Yeah. replacing it.
We're hoping to get new uniforms for our players, and we had our players in tonight.
Yep.
They said hello, our basketball teams earlier tonight.
How often are the uniforms replaced?
Kim,
that's
it
the
was before
problem. They
me. Yeah.
haven't-
When was the last time we purchased it? I wasn't here.
They haven't, and,
Okay.
and this is the problem, so they're pretty
Dated.
worn.
Well used.
They're well worn. So it's been, according to Tracy, been over 5 years.
Okay.
So these uniforms are.
It's
I know, but
reasonable.
if they need any extra, because that doesn't sound like a lot of money,
No, that's
2,300.
what
Are they
we-
getting
we-
it from the
Yeah,
PTG?
we looked at it,
some
because
money?
like soccer, it's just a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's basketball that's got the full uniforms. And we're not replacing
Baseball?
every sport.
Oh.
We're gonna, each year we'll do just one sport, and then next year just do the
Okay,
other.
because I knew that wasn't for
Okay.
3 sports, but it says 3
No,
sports.
no, no, it's just, it's really just, we're just gonna try to cycle them, so that we're not doing them all at once. Just do one sport, then one sport, then one sport, so.
The next one is sports transportation is flat year to year. And then at the back, you're gonna get your variance. And you'll see that overall 2833 is the overall, it's a modest increase, with a lion's share of that going to the $2,300 of upgrading the uniforms. Okay, the next one is 1 page as well, it's really 2 pages as well. Should be brief. And the next one is Systems Administration, Article 7. First one is Board Secretary stipend is flat, stipend benefits are flat, professional services, legal and audit expenses are down $5,000.
Good thing.
Yeah, we've found less need for some of that. Board stipends, professional services is flat, liability insurance is down a modest $960. Superintendent salary is up $750. Benefits follow with, you can read, I'm just, group, main PERS, those are fixed at 20, 144 and 3311. Staff development, we change out to staff development flat at 1,000. Cell phone is down 900.
And that's because that cell phone moved with, the stipend for sub-calling into our.
Right, thank you. That's right, just to update, Kim was the phone caller and it moved over to the front office secretary to take care of that January 1st. Thank you.
Yeah.
Very good. Business staff salaries is down. That the school board understands why. Kim is recessing back to 4 days a week in her salaried position here at Acton, taking Wednesdays off next year. And then, of course, there'll be follow suit with the benefits that are associated with that position. I'm turning the page.
So, 1 second.
Yeah.
So for instance, the superintendent's salary, is that something that was, a figure that was based on a contract that was done a year or 2 back?
Yes, we settled a contract for me for this next year
For the next 5 years,
in October.
Okay,
In October.
5-year contract.
okay.
Where am I? Gonna flip the page. Support, group insurance for medical, $1,598. Repair and maintenance for central office, flat. Computer software agreement, went up $200. Kim alerted me that we are probably good for another couple of years with Blackboard, but they're not this budget cycle, for sure. Probably, they're gonna work with you on the next budget cycle, but they're gonna get out of the payroll part of that.
Yeah, well, we're gonna get out of everything. I'm gonna have to look for.
She's gonna have to shop.
I'm gonna be looking for other softwares, just because when they went to their new cloud system, what they wanted to do was get away from the payroll part, so they wanted me to like hire ADP or something. I was like, no, that's not gonna happen, because ADP with school doesn't understand main PERS, and all you're gonna do is pull hair. And so, I'll be looking at other softwares.
Right.
I mean, accounting's accounting, so it's not rocket science. It's just a matter of
Yeah.
transferring data. Once I find one that's really compatible to
Yeah.
slide the data over, it'll be fine.
Okay.
You know Kim's a bargain shopper, and you know Kim takes courses to lower our insurance rates. It's just how she's built.
Yeah.
It's $8,000. Why don't you tell what, don't use the brand name, but what other schools have invested in for the same kind of software? How much does it cost?
60,
$60,000 for district software
Yeah.
for finance.
so.
You should get a bonus.
So we're at $8,000, right? That's why we're gonna work with
And we're
Blackboard.
cutting her hours.
Yeah.
No,
No,
she's
we're-
cutting her hours.
That's what I mean. Cutting her hours.
Not we.
She made that decision. Let me be very
Yeah.
clear.
Yeah.
She's got other things she wants to do on Wednesdays. She's probably gonna go golf with all of her doctor friends or something.
I'll bake cookies
Now,
on
You've
Wednesday.
never seen me play golf, have you?
Okay, I'm sorry, can't talk about personnel. Let's keep moving. All right, even though she's sitting right there. Postage. Postage is flat.
Postage.
Advertising is flat.
Wait, how could postage be flat when it just went up another 5 cents?
Postage and meter rental
You
for the
gotta, you gotta
school.
meter, you gotta
Yeah.
thing, yeah.
It's
But
Yeah,
it's
discount.
50 cents, it did go up
You get
3
discount
cents,
with the
but
meter.
it's,
Is it Pitney and Bow, who is that?
there's a lot of things that I try to do so that we're not, you know, like, I will hand you your paycheck before I mail it to you.
Sure.
You know, it's just things like that.
So you don't expect the increase to affect
Not in this budget.
budget?
That's
Yeah.
Not yet.
Advertising flat, travel and conferences up $600, supplies up $500, dues and fees flat, bank service charges down 100, and then we're into the totals with a variance. And the variance is down $4,750 in this cost center of district administration. And that completes our work for this evening, people.
Woohoo.
And it's 6:20, and I bet the roads aren't much worse than they were when we arrived, I hope.
But now I have to clean my car off.
I'll
Dude,
clean your
just
car.
before we
The hole
leave-
is in the garage.
Before we leave this meeting, our next meeting, and I don't want to pull it out of my head, I think it's just March 5th.
It is.
And we're going to look at cost center, Article 6 on that evening, which is our computer technology. And I'll tell you now, when we're still working, Kim and I are going to be working on a few things between now and then. There's a lot of unknowns at the state right now. I met with the new commissioner as part of a superintendent's group, and the MLTI laptop program is kind of up for bid. They don't know what they want to do. They got some ideas, but it's kind of done June 30th. So Mike's done some good work and sat with Kim and I. He's going to have to sit with us again. We're going to present you with Article 6, and we're probably going to have to, he's going to have to make some choices when it's clearer what our choices are. So we're just kind of, we might have to put some placeholders in there until we know what we're doing with technology. We're also going to look that evening at revenue. We should have some revenue numbers then. We should have our state subsidy numbers by then. For the first time, they may get them out on time in February, which is amazing. And we will probably be looking at reserve accounts, anything that we want to do with any kind of reserve funding that night. And then that'll kind of finish our process. We can kind of look at the bigger picture that night too and have some conversations. Do we have the warrant and finance review night on our schedule anywhere, Kim? Because that's then roll, that's
It's
then
on the
Roll, that's
schedule, I
Rollins'
believe.
night,
Right.
that night. You guys lead, we follow.
Right, so we will have the one on March 5th.
Yeah.
Is it the
one-
5th or the 6th?
I know, he said 6.
It's
and
the
it's-
5th.
No, I said
No, 5th.
5th.
No, it's
Fifth.
supposed to be March 5th.
Tuesday, the
Yeah.
5th at 5 PM,
Right.
finalized budget,
Yeah.
5th.
Right,
Okay.
but I think you said 6, but it's
Then
all
on the
right. I was
12th.
gonna ask.
Yeah.
It's all right.
That's our night that we also had, that's what we put on.
So we're just gonna turn it right over to warrant and finance when we're done?
On which one?
On the 5th?
On the 12th.
12.
On the 12th?
Well.
Okay, yeah.
And the 12th is
Actually,
our
the-
school committee starting at 5 first.
Okay, yeah, I got that down here too. So our last school committee meeting around the budget is March 5th, Tuesday,
Yeah.
for the school committee. And then we have a school committee meeting on March 12th
Yeah.
with the warrant and finance review of the school budget on March 12th at 6 PM.
Right,
Right, so just like tonight, we do one and then the other.
yeah.
And if that meeting is relatively short and you would like to start early, just let us know, like we did tonight.
Okay, so Warren Finance is here on the 5th or not?
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
It's 6 o'clock instead of, not
At-
5
No,
o'clock?
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock, and
5
I,
o'clock.
and I
Unless
just,
early.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
went over the things we'll be doing. Article 6, looking at reserve,
Yep.
and finalizing the budget. And then on the 12th, we'll have a school committee meeting, and then we'll have
Did we
we'll
do
have your meeting.
transportation?
Yeah,
We did, it was the first one.
But I mean, we
But we'll
now have-
finalize it after we get our.
So we can do
we'll get
that.
We will, we'll have a
Right.
number, I hope by when we come back and look on the 5th, we'll have a number we can go back and plug in. We might have some solid insurance numbers by then too.
Yeah.
And we should have the state revenue information then too. So really, about a month after that, we have the
Article nine.
town vote on the
Yeah,
2nd of April.
2nd, yeah.
Yeah,
The
Okay.
budget has to be up to the town by the 18th.
Yep.
So.
okay, any questions before we adjourn? I think the school committee has to take us out of the meeting though, don't you?
Yeah, I'll stop with
So
Do
everything.
you? It's a
just a
budget meeting.
budget.
No, you don't? We already came out, okay.
Have no questions.
All right, we're good. Drive safe, everybody.
Yes. Get home safe.
I'll give Jen the note she needs.
No, we don't have to adjourn. We adjourned the regular meeting.
Yeah, we
This is
adjourn-
just a workshop.
This is a workshop.